When the zombie corpse comes, my brother can choose one of the two abilities every year, and the one he doesn't want belongs to me. In the first year, he chose the only attack type ability, controlled by lightning. And I, passively, accepted another useless auxiliary ability, the purifying light. In the last corpse, the auxiliary that cannot kill zombies is waste. I barely managed to get some survival supplies in the base by purifying water and food, and I lived like a dog. And the younger brother Ji Xiao, with his powerful thunder and lightning abilities, has become the existence of the stars in the base holding the moon, and he is the thunder and lightning king that everyone fears. In the end, he didn't want to snatch a woman. Which one do you think I should choose? The greed and ambition in his eyes are unabashed. This thunder and lightning are so cool, but the purification seems to be good. I knew that he just wanted to appreciate my extreme and powerless expression. In my last life, I was indeed extremely crazy, but now I just think it's ridiculous. Of course, it was controlled by thunder and lightning. My tone was flat, even with a hint of encouragement, attack ability. Only the strong can survive in the end times. The air was shaved up, as if he didn't expect me to say that. He looked at me suspiciously for a few moments, but was finally carried away by the powerful attraction of lightning. That's right, he raised his chin proudly, like you. This kind of coward, even if you give you an attack ability, you don't dare to use it. This purifying light is quite suitable for you, and it is also a bit useful after washing clothes. After he finished speaking, he grabbed the purple electric light. The light instantly sank into his eyebrows. He sighed comfortably. His fingertips could already jump with small electric beams, and the purifying light he gave up was like a child that no one wanted, slowly floating in front of me and blending into my body. A warm current spread through the limbs, very comfortable, but I really didn't feel any attack power. Ji Xiao glanced at me contemptuously, turned his head and walked out of the room. Where to go? Parent showed off his powerful abilities. I closed the door and slowly exhaled a breath of turbid air. He didn't know that the light of purification was more precious than any attack type ability in the later stage. He can not only purify water and food, but also purify the loss of virus. What does it mean for a wet nurse who can relieve corpse poison and ignore everyone's own danger? It means supreme authority and status. And Ji Xiao pushed this monstrous power in front of me with a light hand. Outside the window, the sky darkened at a speed visible to the naked eye, the air began to smell of rotten sweethearts, and piercing screams and chaotic hisses echoed through the streets. Inspiration, coming. The door was slammed violently. Dad roared outside. Jibo replied, "You get out of here. Bo Xiao said there are monsters outside. You hurry up and protect us." I ignored it, but tore it to the door with the heaviest blood table in the room. The curses and roars outside the door became clearer and clearer, mixed with Ji Xiao's impatient urging. Leave him alone. What use can he have as an auxiliary system? Let's go quickly. Soon, the sounds outside disappeared. I knew, they were gone, just like in the previous life. Without hesitation, abandoned me. I leaned against the door, listening to the screams coming from the corridor. My heart was won. A cold, in the darkness, I stretched out my right hand. A soft white light lit up in my palm. This is the purifying light. I took out a bottle of mineral water from my school bag that was already a little cloudy, and shrouded the light mass on the bottle. But in a few seconds, the net number of impurities in the water disappeared, becoming extremely clear. I unscrewed the bottle belt and took a sip, sweet and clear. Better than the top pure water before the end of the world. I took out another bag of bread that was about to expire, also purified with light. The dry and hard bread slices became soft again, exuding a fresh wheat aroma. This is the capital for me to settle down in the early stage. For the next 7 days, I stayed in my room. The outside world had completely turned into hell on earth, and my room was the only pure land. I relied on my purification ability to deal with the perishable food in the refrigerator at home one by one, enough for me to last a month. On the 8th day, the roar outside gradually stopped. I knew that the first wave of chaos had passed, and those who survived began to establish the original survivor stronghold, and I carefully opened a crack in the door after confirming that there were no zombies in the corridor. He put on the backpack he had prepared and left the so-called downstairs. The smell of putrid in the air is misleading. I resisted not trying, and ran in the direction of memory as quickly as possible. The Chengnan Gymnasium is the city's first and largest survivor base. In the previous life, Ji Xiao and I also met there. When I rushed to the gymnasium, there were already many survivors gathered at the door. Several men with weapons were maintaining order, checking everyone who wanted to enter. I saw Ji Xiao. He was being surrounded by a group of people in the center. Like an arrogant king, he only saw the flashing lightning, and easily electrocuted an approaching zombie into coke, leading to it. Came to the surroundings in amazement and awe. He also saw me. A trace of surprise flashed in his eyes, and then he was replaced by a thick nose. Yo, isn't this my useless brother, actually alive? He walked up to me, looked at me condescendingly. Why, want to enter the base? Beg me and let you in. The people around him also coaxed, sweeping the corpse on me with unremitting eyes. I ignored him, forbidden to walk to the man in charge of registration. Hello, I am a superpower. The man raised his head and asked lazily, what ability? Auxiliary play, evolution. As soon as the words fell, a burst of laughter erupted around him. Evolution? What kind of crap is that? Superpower? Can you kill zombies? Laugh me to death. Now any cat and dog dare to say that they are superpowers? Ji Xiao can't laugh. Brother, let me say it. Your ability is the life of washing clothes and washing dishes. Hurry up and get out. Don't be embarrassed here. The registered man also waved his hand impatiently. Go. Our base does not raise idlers. I don't change my face. Take out a bottle of water from my backpack. Hand it to him. You can try. The man looked at me suspiciously, and then looked at the bottle of crystal clear water in my hand. Ignoring the outbreak, the natural water system was contaminated in the first place, filled with deadly viruses that are now drunk by survivors. It's all the previous bottled inventory, drink one bottle less bottle. He hesitated for a moment, or took the water bottle, took a sip carefully. The next second, his eyes widened suddenly. Yes, this water. He took another big sip in disbelief. With an extremely comfortable expression on his face, delicious, too delicious, exactly the same as before the end of the world. The people around him were stunned. A man who was close couldn't help but come over and ask, Lao Wang, is really fake, Lao. Wang held the water bottle in his arms like a baby, looking at him vigilantly. Of course it's true. Why am I lying to you? The way he looked at me changed instantly, from impatience to heat. And respect, this little brother, you can really purify the water source. I nodded. The crowd exploded in an instant. Everyone's eyes were focused on me, full of shock and desire. Can purify the water source. What does this mean? Means infinite, clean drinking water. In this incomparably precious disregard of even a sip of clean water, the value of my garbage ability instantly surpassed Ji Buoxiao's seemingly powerful thunder and lightning control. Ji Buoxiao's face became extremely ugly. He couldn't have imagined that I was despised by him. It had such a heaven-defying effect. He gritted his teeth and was unwilling. He said, isn't it just purifying water? What's so great? My thunder and lightning can kill all the zombies. But this time, no one echoed him anymore. A man who looked like a small leader walked over quickly and politely stretched out his hand to me. This little brother, welcome to join our Dawn base. I am one of the people in charge here. My name is Jin Feng. I shook hands with him lightly. Ji Boda, Ji Xiao brother. Please inside. Jin Feng made a gesture of invitation to me. The attitude is extremely respectful. Your ability is too important to our base. I was invited into the gymnasium by Jin Feng angrily, and Ji Buoxia was left hanging in place. His face turned white for a while, and he let it. The proud attack power, in the face of the huge temptation of infinite water source, seemed so insignificant. I was arranged in a separate room, although simple, but very clean. Jin Feng told me that as the only purification ability in the base at present, I only need to provide 50 bottles of purification water every day, in exchange for sufficient food and absolute security. This is a very favorable condition. Of course I will not refuse. Soon, I will become a celebrity of the Dawn base. Everyone knows, there is a male god of purification who can provide clean water in the base, and countless people carry various supplies every day, hoping to exchange for an extra bottle of purification water from me. I didn't refuse. I exchanged the excess water for a lot of food, medicine, clothing, and even weapons. My small room was quickly piled up, and Ji Buoxiao, although he also mixed well with his thunder and lightning abilities, became the base hunting team in half. But the limelight was completely overshadowed by me. He watched me being sought after by everyone. His eyes were extremely red. Finally, in the middle of the night, he took 2 people, spread my door. Ji Boda, you get out of me. I sat up from the bed, and looked coldly at the 3 people who broke in. Ji Buoxiao's gaze greedily swept over the mountains in my room. The material, finally frozen on my face, full of resentment. Hand over your purification ability, he said viciously. This ability should have been me. What trick did you use to snatch him away? I was about to be laughed at by his shameless remarks. Ji Buoxiao, do you have a brain disease? You gave up on it yourself, and now you rely on me in turn? I don't care. Ji Buoxiao crashed into the madness. You don't hand it over today. Don't think about me. The 2 men behind him are gearing up, looking at me with a fierce face. They are all members of Ji Buoxiao's hunting team. Brother Xiao, what do you have to say to him? Just take these things, when the time comes. Isn't it all ours? That is, an auxiliary system, can still turn the sky over. Ji Buoxiao's eyes flashed with a hint of pride. The lightning of time sizzled. I will give you one last chance. I slowly stood up. I didn't know when I had a sharp firefighting suit in my hand. This was I exchanged 3 bottles of water from a survivor during the day. If you want, then take it yourself. Toast and don't eat the casting wine. Ji Buoxiao shouted angrily. A bolt of lightning suddenly slashed at me. I was already on guard, dodged sideways, and the lightning hit the wall behind me, leaving it scorched black. The 2 men also smiled and pounced on me. My eyes were sharp. There was no retreat in my hand. The firefighting suit crossed a cold arc and slashed fiercely at the neck of the man on the left. He didn't expect me to look so thin, and the shot was so ruthless, and he hurriedly retreated in fright, but he was still cut open by the blade, and the other person took the opportunity to hug my waist. I did not hesitate to slam my elbow into his sunblood. The man screamed. Let go of his hand. I seized the opportunity and kicked him to the ground. The belly and back of the firefighting suit hit his knees heavily, and the sound of bones shattering was particularly clear in the silent night. The man hugged his legs and let out a howl like a pig. This Ji Buoxiao and another man looked at it. They didn't expect that I, a waist assistant, would have such a strong combat effectiveness. I have been a human being for 2 lifetimes. I have struggled at the bottom of the ink room for 10 years. What kind of battle has not been experienced? It is more than enough to deal with them. You. Ji Buoxiao was shocked and angry. I carried a firefighting suit, approaching him step by step. Do you still want my ability? My eyes were as cold as a knife, making him shiver involuntarily, and the screams of his wife, don't come here, I'll kill you. Another bolt of lightning hit me, but the continuous use of the ability had already made his face a little white, and I dodged again, sheltering. A kick in his abdomen. Ji Buoxiao was kicked by me and flew out, hitting the wall heavily. He looked at me in disbelief. How could it be possible? It was already just an auxiliary. I walked in front of him, looked down at him from a high spirit. Whoever told you that the auxiliary can't fight? I raised my firefighting suit and aimed it at his head. At this moment, there was a sound of hurried footsteps outside the door. Jin Feng rushed in with a group of people, saw the scene in the room. His face changed greatly. Stop, Brother Ji, what are you doing? Seeing Jin Feng coming, Ji Buoxiao seemed to have grabbed the life-saving straw, and immediately cried, Captain Jin, save me, my brother. Jin Feng, he wants to kill me. Jin Feng frowned, looking at the firefighting suit in my hand and the 2 men wailing on the ground. His eyes became a little complicated. Brother Ji, what's going on? Please put down the axe first. I didn't move. I just looked at Ji Buoxiao coldly. He broke into my room with people, wanted to rob me, and wanted to kill me. Ji Buoxiao immediately retorted, I didn't, it's him. He was jealous that my thunder and lightning abilities were stronger than him, so he wanted To kill me, monopolize the best resources of the base, his ability to reverse black and white, or as strong as ever. Qin Feng was obviously a little embarrassed. On the one hand, it could provide infinite water purification. On the one hand, there is a powerful thunder and lightning superpower. He doesn't want to offend both sides. He can only take care of you. There must be something wrong with me. Ji Buoxiao, you take you back personally first. Ji Buoxiao replied. You also discouraged. Ji Buoxiao was unwilling, but seeing my cold eyes, he still had lingering fears. He could only glare at me hatefully, stood up against the wall, and left with his people in embarrassment. Qin Feng stayed, sighed. Brother Ji, I know. You have been wronged, but now the base needs to be united. Ji Buoxiao is standing at the top after all. I hope you can. The purified water I provide every day, turn over a glass. I interrupted. His words directly set my conditions. Qin Feng was stunned. I continued. In exchange, I need absolute security. I don't want anyone to break into my room casually. If there is another time, I don't guarantee whether the water supply of the base can continue. This is a naked threat. Qin Feng's face changed, and finally nodded. I understand. I will send more people to guard your door. Guarantee that something like this today will not happen again. He looked at me deeply, turned to leave. I know. After tonight's events, Qin Feng's attitude towards me will be more fearful, but at the same time, he will also pay more attention to my safety, because he understands my value. Far bigger than an impulsive and irritable Ji Buoxiao. Time flies. Soon, the first anniversary of the end of the world. This day, Ji Buoxiao and I mile highly. At the same time, a new option appeared. 100-fold storage space versus land activation. Seeing these two options, my breathing instantly quickened. Coming, land activation. This previous life was by Ji Buoxiao like a blue fish. But in the later stage it was known as a miracle ability. It can activate the land contaminated by the virus, so that it can regain the ability to farm. In the middle and late stages of the end of the world, when food shortages become a more deadly threat than zombies, the value of this ability is immeasurable. And Ji Buoxiao, his eyes were fixed on the 100-fold storage space, the space that can hold a mountain of materials, for any survivor of the end of the world, has a fatal attraction. In the last life, he was for this space. Beat me half to death. Brother, Ji Buoxiao's voice sounded leisurely, with a hint of weird excitement. This time you think I should choose. Before I had time to speak, he rushed over. A hand knife slashed fiercely on the back of my neck. My eyes darkened, and I lost consciousness in an instant. When I woke up, I found myself lying in an abandoned warehouse, with a burning pain in the back of my neck, all over my body. It's all like a fight. Ji Buoxiao is standing in front of me. His face is undisguised pride and cruelty. Waking up, my good brother, his eyebrows, there is a small space imprint. Obviously, he has chosen a 100-fold storage space, and the land activation that he gave up has automatically belonged to me. I can feel it, a faint but full of vitality power, flowing in my body. You knocked me unconscious. It's for this space. I asked coldly. Otherwise, Ji Buoxiao laughed wildly. Do you think I'll give you a chance to choose? You rely on the garbage ability. I don't want to dominate the base and steal everything I have. I've been wanting to get you for a long time. Now I have a 100-fold space. I can load the materials of the entire base. And you, he squatted down and patted me on the face. What kind of land is your land revitalized? What's the use? Do you go to farm? It's really funny. The land contaminated by the virus. You can still grow things. He stood up, looked at me like garbage. You will die in this warehouse. Don't worry. I will tell Qin Feng. It was you who accidentally got bitten by a zombie and ran out. After saying that, he laughed and turned away. The door of the warehouse was locked from the outside with iron chains, and there was silence in the warehouse, only the sound of my heavy breathing, and I struggled to get up, leaning against the cold. On the wall, Ji Buoxiao thought he had won. He thought he had gotten the storage space. He would get the whole world. But he didn't know that what he lost was still a real treasure. I closed my eyes, feeling the land activation ability in my body. And then, I pressed my hand on the cold and hard cement floor under me. A green light spread from my palm. A miracle happened. The hard cement floor actually became soft at a speed visible to the naked eye. And the color also changed from gray to fertile black, a small piece, only the size of a palm, but full of vitality. I laughed. Ji Buoxiao, you stupid bastard. You don't know it all. Net. What a terrifying chemical reaction the combination of radiant light and land activation can be.